Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, here it is. We're gonna talk about my first real estate investment. Get ready. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be free falling this. It will likely be a long video, so just go and grab your coffee, grab your glass of wine, grab your popcorn, and we will go on this journey together. So, starting from the beginning, first of all, I bought my first real estate investment property this year in 2022. So I bought it in my second year of real estate. So I never thought that I would be able to do something like that because, first of all, the biggest thing with these things is financing, making sure you have the financing or you have access to financing to get the properties. And I knew it's something. That's awkward. I was recording and my phone said I ran out of storage. I have 250 gigabytes. So I just deleted some, but I guess I'm gonna have to do that more regularly. In any event, okay, so I bought my first investment property. I didn't think it'd be possible because with most A and B lenders, you need, when you're a realtor, you're considered self-employed. So you need at least 2 years of taxes, filing taxes as a self-employed business for most lenders to consider that as a regular income. And so by the time I was doing this, I only had 1 year in any event. So I didn't think I could do it. But then one of the mortgage brokers I work with, Mr. Charles Kaitaba, he introduced me to this private lender who actually has a lot of different lending options. So with private lending in general, private lenders, basically they get to make up their own rules. So you get a lot more flexibility, but with that flexibility comes a price. So you're gonna be paying a whole lot more interest. But he has this one lender who, now it's low battery. He has this one lender who specializes in helping with loans for flipping, for renovations. So it's short-term loans. It's 6-month terms. It's an open mortgage loan, so you can cancel sooner or you can renew it later if you need. What I like about this lender, Calvert Homes, is what is great is that you do have the option, if you're purchasing the home and paying 20% down, then you can get a more reasonable interest rate depending on what prime is like, anywhere from maybe 5 to 6, 7, 8% depending. But they have this other option which is great where you can put 20, instead of 20%, you put $20,000 down. And then you have a much higher interest rate. So it will depend, but it can be anywhere from 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19%, depending on what the market is like at that time. And that is regardless of what the purchase price is. So obviously, there's different factors that come into play, but depending on the scenario, they'll do an assessment and things like that. And one of the great things is they don't focus on your income, your credit score, and things like that. They focus on your capital. So how much is it going to cost to purchase this property, including your $20,000 down payment, closing costs, and such? How much is it going to cost to do the renovations? Do you have quotes or a write-up of what will entail the work that you're going to be doing? And then what is it going to cost to sell the home, real estate fees, even purchasing it, land transfer tax and things like that. So they look at what is the project going to cost as a whole, including the mortgage payments and utilities. Do you have that capital? And then what is the ARV going to be? ARV is the after repair value. So they have it in-house appraisers. Because they're private lenders, they can do an approval like same business day. Charles has had some people who have closed in a transaction with them. They've put in an offer and then the closing date is 3 days later, like after a long weekend. With private lenders, you can do things like that. So there's a whole lot of benefits to it. But yeah, because of them, I was able to, and that method, I was able to purchase my very first property. So this property, you might have seen it. It was actually a property I had listed. So me and my colleague Paisley from London, we actually were paying for some. So for the first time, we paid for some lead generation from a company called Agent Locator. And so from there, this is one of the leads that we got. So this lady was looking to sell her home. With her scenario, I'm not going to get detailed, but okay, I'm not going to get too much into it. But she needed to move on. We had the place listed. We weren't getting any offers that she'd like. One offer came in and it was really low ball, and she said she just can't take it because she won't be able to make things work. So you know what, at the time, I had recently connected with a contractor, and we talked about it to see if this is something that he could do as far as renovations. And he said yes, he could. And so I made the decision to buy it. So I put in an offer. We did go with negotiations, even with my client, negotiations back and forth, because we wanted to make sure it's fair for both parties. And we were able to come to a number that worked. So we then got the property, and the closing date, I chose to do a bit further out closing date so that I could work with my contractor. So he had the time between his other projects to work on this. So we had the opportunity to start the project early, but things just didn't work out. And so I finally got the property in my name, and then a couple more weeks still went by and nothing was being done. So after and I would like to consider I'm a very reasonable person. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But all in all, after I think it was either 6 or 8 weeks. No, it was more than 6. It was 8 weeks. It was 8 or 9 weeks. After 8 or 9 weeks of nothing being done, the house wasn't touched. Not even a tile was lifted off the floor. About 8 weeks, so 2 months of nothing being done. I decided to step in and say, you know what? Let me do some of the work. Let me get things started. But with this particular contractor, he likes to be more so in control of the process, and he likes to be able to dictate what is going to be done and know that those things are going to be done, and he will arrange for everything, which was great because he was going to do everything for me. Another tip as well, when you're doing investments with contractors, you can either do the route where you hire a project manager who will manage the project, find the contractors, and do all of that for you. You can do the project management yourself if you have experience or you know someone who has experience, or you can work directly with one of the contractors who can kind of be the project manager as well. And in that scenario, you can, instead of paying him maybe the full regular price of what his renovation costs will be, you can maybe pay a lower price or pay no price at all, and then split the equity with the contractor. And when the contractors are getting a piece of the equity, they are more motivated to complete these projects on time and in a costly manner, because if they keep their expenses low, they know their profit margin is going to be higher as well. So when dealing with contractors, you can either pay them a flat rate, or you can pay them a daily rate, or you can pay them a percentage. There's so many different ways to do it. So, and it changes every contractor, so I'm not even going to get into that, but that's just a few tips. So with this particular contractor, after 8 weeks of nothing being done, the mortgage payments are still coming out of my bank account. So I wanted to be more involved and just to start to get the demolition and things rolling, but it's not the way that he does business. He does his business. So things didn't work out and he decided to drop out. So it was very, I'm going to say earth shattering, because it's my very first project. I really didn't know I had an overview of what needed to be done, but I didn't know in detail what I needed to do. And I already had this property purchased. It's legally in my name. I've paid my deposit. I have the money coming out of my account. And I didn't even have the full amount of the renovations because things were going to be split. So I was at an all-time low that things didn't work out. But in the event, I stayed positive, and honestly, God just lined up the right relationships for me. So I was able to connect with someone else who is now my lead contractor and will continue to be my lead contractor, and just help guide me through the process. He didn't go and do everything, but he definitely gave me the right directions. And it was a really, really big learning process for me. And honestly, it was probably, I won't say the worst scenario you can go through, because I know people have gone through worse, but it was a pretty bad scenario. But my point is, through all of that, I still enjoyed it. And I still love the art of renovations and flipping homes. And me going through that scenario made me so much stronger. It made me so much more knowledgeable. I made so many mistakes, but I know a bunch of mistakes I won't be making again. So it was a really bad start for that project, but like a beautiful start to the overall industry of just me flipping homes. But in any event, that's how things started. So it started off rough, and this house needed a full gut, full renovations. Everything needed to be done. So I was recording through the process. I planned to do like monthly videos, keeping you guys updated, but things were just so crazy and hectic, I wasn't able to. So I'm now coming with the video. But anyways, that's how I got the property. That's how I financed the property. And the great thing with the lender, when you need to show that you have the money to do this project, the good thing is that you don't have to have all the cash available. So they look at what capital you have available to you. So that may be cash on hand, that may be credit cards. So if you can show the credit cards in your name and you have that available limit, if you have line of credit available, or even in some scenarios, if you have an investor partner and they have their funds available, they may want the investor to go on title with you as well. But that is a great option as well. So that really saved me in the end. So overall, for my first contractor, I was told that the renovations wouldn't take more than 3 months. So everything was going to be done in 3 months. It was going to be done sooner, but 3 months was with the extra wiggle room just in case. And then, so the idea was to have it renovated before 3 months, then put it on the market. And at the time, the market was a lot better, so it would have sold within 30 days. Now so I got the property, so June, May, and June, nothing were done. July, demolition started in July, and that could only be done on weekends because of the contractors that were available. So most of the actual renovations were done in August and September. So it took about a month to do the demolition just on weekends. And then the renovations took place in August and September, and then finishing up in October. So the house is actually going to be done in the next couple weeks. So from that standpoint, it's even with the mess that it's been still a great process, because I've been speaking with other people who do flips, and sometimes their renovations are delayed 2 months just by permits. And that's why I said I'm going to do another video, because the whole permit process was actually very easy, but because of where the house was located. But in any event, overall, great project. I can't wait to have it listed. And that's just how I got into it. So, but if you guys have any questions about the lender I use or getting started of flipping, you know what, if there's enough interest, I may even do another Etsy package for kind of checklists and steps involved things you want to do and make sure you have in place when looking to flip a property, and different resources that I use. So if there's enough interest in the comments below, I'll definitely do a package and get something together like that. But other than that, I hope this video is kind of informative, and just to show you, you can flip a property after your first year or maybe second year or third year of real estate, and it can be done. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.